We're looking at the metaphysics of space. We're deciphering Zatyshok. We begin part 1, the semantic tapestry. To master English at a C1 or C2 level, you must understand that environmental safety isn't just a comfort. It is a moral and intellectual asset. Let's unravel how this word functions as a bridge to a high-end lexicon. In your earlier studies, you likely used the word cozy, but at this stage, cozy is reductive. Zatyshok is ineffable. It is derived from the Ukrainian word for silence. Paradoxically, it is defined more by what is absent than what is present. In the absence of wind, it is the absence of the storm. It is a metaphysical shelter, a deliberate buffer that separates the chaos of the external world from the stillness of the individual soul. To articulate this in English, consider 3 pillars. First, protection, not just from the rain, but from the elements of stress. Second, stillness, a palpable tranquility that invites intellectual depth. And third, sanctuary, a space where your psychological guard is completely lowered. In English, we might call this your inner sanctum. How does this contrast with other famous terms? Look at our table. The Danish Hygge is built on conviviality, social warmth and candles. The German Gemütlichkeit is about belonging and interpersonal accord. But Zatyshok is unique. Its primary driver is insulation. It is the philosophy of the refuge. It is less about the socks you wear and more about the wall you build against the noise. Interestingly, we see a global trend toward this concept. Since 2015, as digital burnout reached a peak, narrative interest in environmental insulation has skyrocketed. We're moving towards an era of radical stillness. The principles of Zatyshok are now being used by architects and psychologists to combat modern anxiety. The data backs this up. 86% of creative professionals identify environmental sanctuary as a non-negotiable prerequisite for deep work. When we say a space is Zatyshok, we aren't just making a polite observation. We're identifying a functional asset that allows the mind to reach its highest state. There's also a certain pensive melancholy here. To appreciate the haven, one must be acutely aware of the snowy night outside. In English, we use terms like respite or seclusion to describe this intentional withdrawal. It is the haven as an ideal, a moral victory over a harsh environment. This concept has evolved. To begin as an archaic need for shelter from the literal storm in the 19th century, it moved into the silent nook of romantic literature. Today, it is a form of therapy. We are now entering the phase of digital-free sanctuaries, the final evolution of the Slavic sanctum. There's an old wisdom that says true Zatyshok is not when the presence of fine things, but the profound resonance of silence within one's own sanctuary. It is an internal state reflected in an external room. Let's upgrade your vocabulary list. Cloistered serenity. Use this to describe an intensely private, protected space. Environmental resonance. When a room mirrors your emotional needs. Palpable stillness. Silence so thick it feels like a physical presence. These are the markers of a truly sophisticated English speaker. I leave you with this philosophical inquiry for the comments. In our hyper-connected era, is the pursuit of your cloistered serenity an act of survival or a luxury for the elite? Thank you for joining me for episode 6. Use these terms this week, and I will see you in France for our next adventure.